Be Wealthy and Smart, episode 376.
I'm gonna live the rich life, full and best life. So if y'all know what I mean, put your hands up and declare with me. Yeah, I'm full of it. I'm gonna live the good life, beautiful and glorious life.
Step into a world of wealth and financial freedom without budgets, boredom, or bosses on Be Wealthy and Smart. And now, here's your host, Linda P. Jones.
Welcome to Be Wealthy and Smart. I'm Linda P. Jones, America's Wealth Mentor, empowering women and men worldwide to financial freedom. On today's show, we're going to talk about something that you might need to do since the new tax law went into effect, and that is check your paycheck for the right amount of withholding. This comes to us from an article at the Washington Post written by Michelle Singletary, and it says, check your paycheck. You might be getting too much money. And the article goes like this. With the new tax law comes a home assignment. Remember that small form you filled out when you got your current job? It's IRS Form W-4. This is the form that your employer uses to withhold federal income tax from your pay. As a wage earner, you are required to pay federal income tax by having it withheld from your paycheck throughout the year. This is your withholding, which you calculate based on the number of allowances you claim on your W-4. If your situation changes, you have a child, get married, or purchase a home, you should fill out a new form because it could impact your tax situation. The goal is to have your withholding match your actual tax liability. And I just want to pause there for a moment and say, that's exactly correct. You want to have your withholding match your actual tax liability because we all have heard about when we get a refund, we're actually giving the government a tax-free loan and use of our money that you could be using to pay down debt or using to invest and create wealth for yourself. So you definitely want to make sure that your withholding and your actual tax liability are a pretty close match. The article goes on to say, well, with a new tax law in the land, this means you might need to do some calculations to see if your withholding is correct. I know you're preoccupied with gathering the documents for your 2017 tax return, but this is exactly the right time to also focus on your 2018 return. To get the withholding right, you'll need information from your current pay stub and your 2017 tax return. In an ideal world, you don't want to owe the federal government taxes, but neither should you aim to get a large refund. To hit the sweet spot, no taxes owed, and maybe a small refund, you need to focus on your W-4. Otherwise, with the new tax changes hitting this year, you might find your employer is withholding too much money or not enough. In the latter case, do you really want to find out when you file your 2018 return next year that you've got a big tax bill? Quote, we suggest that people look at their withholdings every year, but most don't, said IRS spokesman Eric Smith. But if ever there was a year to look at your withholdings, this is the year. Your current return is a roadmap of your tax situation, end quote. The article goes on to say, under the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, there are now 7 new income tax brackets, 10%, 12%, 22%, 24%, 32%, 35%, and 37%. Standard deductions have increased. For individuals and married couples filing separately, deductions increased from $6,350 to $12,000. The deductions for heads of household went from $9,350 to $18,000, and for married couples filing jointly, it went from $12,700 to $24,000. All right, I just have to stop right there and say that's astounding. I didn't realize it was almost double, that the standardized deductions are almost double from what they were before. So that means you're not paying any tax on that first amount of money. The article goes on to say, it's important to adjust your W-4 for any over or under withholding to get closer to the break-even point, said Eric Broniquant, head of taxes for the online financial advisor Betterment. Your goal should not be able to get a fat check from the federal government year after year. If you do, you'll just be letting Uncle Sam hold your money interest-free. Surely you can do a better job of putting that cash to good use. Got debt? That's one place to start. The IRS has released the income tax withholding tables for 2018, which take into account changes made by the tax reform legislation. The agency has asked employers to put the new tables into effect by February 15th. When you'll see a change in your pay depends on when your employer starts using the new tables and how often you get paid. Typically, I would send you over to irs.gov to use the agency's online withholding calculator to make adjustments to your W-4, but it's not available because it's being updated. You can adjust your withholding by using the worksheet on the W-4, which helps you figure out how many personal allowances to take based on what tax deductions or credits you expect to claim. But the 2018 W-4 is not available yet. The calculator and the new W-4 will probably be out by the end of February. Ideally, an employee should wait for the new calculator and W-4, but if someone is starting a new job or needs to figure out how to adjust his or her existing W-4 now, use the old worksheet. You can always change it. Or use the withholding calculators put online by TurboTax, H&R Block, and other tax prep companies. In any case, you'll need your most recent pay stub and a copy of your 2017 tax return. Once you've answered questions, much easier to understand than the paper worksheet, the calculator suggests a number of allowances you should put down on your W-4. If you think you might owe taxes, you don't want to wait too long to redo your W-4. The longer you wait, the shorter time you have to adjust your withholdings to make sure enough taxes are taken out, Bronakant said. End of article. So great information here. I would say even though these worksheets are not available as of this podcast, I would definitely put it on your list of important things to do this year. This could be amazing for you to not only have extra income each month by adjusting your withholding, but you also want to make sure you're not under withholding. So even though it seems like a little bit of a hassle, this can mean big dollars for you. And I think it's something really important that you need to check out. So put a note in your calendar in early March to go look for a W-4 worksheet, or as they suggested, you could go to TurboTax or H&R Block and see if there's something that they have prepared that you could fill out and check your W-4 withholding. But either way, the tax changes were so revolutionary, you really need to take a look into this and not ignore this. That's all for today. Until next time, live the good life and be wealthy and smart.
Thank you for listening to Be Wealthy and Smart with Linda P. Jones. Share the wealth and tell your family and friends about the show. Check out our website, blog, and social media for more riches at www.bewealthyandsmart.com.